feel like it was game over before it started. I met you at your worst, you were broken hearted. Still hung up on your wrist like you're in his arms, and I know it probably hurt, but should it be my problem?
What's up YouTube? My name is Ruff, and today I want to go over how to make an indie pop song similar to what artists like Justin Bieber and Charlie Puth and The Weeknd have been putting out. Arpeggiated guitar riff, fast kick and snare combo, and a big respace is the key. And the track that we're going to be looking at today is a demo I wrote with my buddy Robbie Rosen, who's also the vocalist singing on it. So with that being said, let's break it down and dive right in. Alright, so we're in the Ableton project file, and the song starts off with the first half of the chorus just to get the listener used to the lyrics and melody right away. So that sounds like this.
I feel like it was game over before it started. I met you at your worst, you were broken hearted. Still hung up on your wrist like you're in his arms, and I know it probably hurt, but should it be my problem?
And then as far as the instrumental goes, if I just mute the vocal, it's just this guitar loop and some atmosphere. And I'm not ashamed to say that the guitar is just Contact, Session Guitarist, Electric Mint. We got the Arpland A progression. We put it in a B minor, and then we got the floating drops doubled preset. Rolling with the amps, effects, and processing within Contact, and a little bit of EQ, just taking out some of the highs and lows to make room for the bass and the vocals. Then we got some transitional stuff here going from section to section. But as far as the guitar is concerned, like, this works. We tried, tracking guitars, we tried other loops, and we just couldn't find something that beat this. We wrote the song just to this guitar loop, and then all this other production came later. And sometimes, when you have something that works, like, don't fight it. Bird in the hand's better than two in the bush. Contact loop, not ashamed of it. And then in the chorus, same loop, different processing. So I got this guitar tool rack doing a clean amp preset. Then I put this in mono, so it just makes it sound a little bit bigger, so when you put them together in the chorus, versus in the intro and verse, so it's losing a little bit of that mid-mono body in the verses and the intro, so when you add it in the chorus, it makes that guitar sound bigger. But as far as the intro is concerned, it's just that guitar loop, and then this Oliver atmospheric texture of people talking with just a little EQ taking out 1K and some lows just to add a little bit of real life intimacy to the intro. So that with the guitar. And then just a little sweep into the verse. Then once we get into the verse, we're bringing in that classic fast kick and snare combo that you're seeing a lot of the 80s inspired pop music do today that sounds like this. And for the kick, we got two layers. We got this layer, which is providing a lot of the body, and then this layer, which is just a top kick. Put them together. And then processing wise, we got this one just taking out some of the highs, this one taking out some of the lows and some of the high highs. Then we got, Soothe 2 just doing a little dip around 4K. We got another EQ just taking out some dynamics around the 1 to 2K range. Then on the group again, we got a soft clipper, which is just adding a little bit more punch, and that's how you get that kick. And the kick stays the same for the verses and the full chorus, but the big drum bus is where we do some of that additional processing to make the verse drums feel smaller compared to the chorus, but we'll get to that when we get to the chorus drums. But as far as the verse is concerned, it's just this kick. Then we go to the snare, and we have literally one snare layer, splice sample. It's the chromonally snare machine with a little bit of EQ, and then this EQ taking out a little bit more just for the verses, and it's just classic 80s sound with the kick. And then this is just my sidechain trigger, but other than that, the verse drums are super simple. Kick and snare, keep it simple. Then the last thing in the verse is we got two bass layers. We got this plucky layer and this E-bass layer. And those are sidechain to the kick and the snare, so they're ducking both. But this plucky layer is just a Serum, Make Pop Music, Taylor Swift, Jumpy Bass preset. And then as far as the processing, we got some EQ just, serving the purpose of, hey, I want it to sit in this range. I don't want anything up here, and I don't want a ton here. So that's why there's all these EQs, just finding spots where this bass clashes with everything else, and then just take them out. Soothe, another Waves F6, literally barely doing anything. So, no processing really besides EQ, And then on the E bass, it's just a contact, probably the Rickenbacker. Yeah, it's the Rickenbacker bass with literally just an EQ. So no need to go crazy on these basses because the purpose is just to serve low end and add more rhythm. So if we bring the vocal, the drums, and the guitar back in, here's the entire verse.
Drum text, late nights and cigarettes. Your friends hate that I'm in your head. The sun's out, but I'm just a silhouette. So back off, cause I'm not your therapist.
Then moving on to the pre, this is where we start to bring in those transitional effects. So we got, risers, sweeps, impacts that all together kind of give a smooth transition that sounds like this. But what really drives the pre is these atmosphere and ambient shots. So this ambient shot is really doing a lot to the pre. And then we got these two atmosphere choir sounds supporting it underneath. Just sitting in those high frequencies, just filling out the spectrum and giving like an eerie, pre-chorus vibe. If we go to the chords, 3 layers. Piano from Contact, very soft. Then we got this Juno pad from Serum, literally the most basic pad ever that I made like 3 years ago. It's just a saw wave. And then with a slight automation here, so the filter opens up. And then we got this Omnisphere strummed guitar. Offsetting the MIDI so that it gives that strummed feel. So all the chords together, bringing the atmosphere. Then pre-guitar, same guitar as the intro and the chorus, it's just filtering in at the very end. Couple drums that come into the last second too, just that same snare, but it's filtering in. So everything together. Build the atmosphere. All right, so now diving into the chorus, here's what our drums and effects sound like. So it's the same kick and snare combo, but we're adding a lot more percussion and loops. And the big difference with the kick and snare is on the drum bus, there's these EQs that are on for the verses, but they turn off for the chorus. So on the verses, taking out just so many frequencies of the kick and snare so that when they come back in the chorus, with all these loops, it just feels so much bigger. So if we dive into the loops, we're now layering up the snare with 2 more layers and a clap, giving a little bit more of a rhythmic groove instead of just that straight 2/4. Some rides and hi-hats, and some loops. Always need a cowbell. So all the drums together. Then for the effects, we got a bunch of crashes, downlifters, and then like little transitional stuff. So that's all the drums and effects for the chorus. Then the guitar is that main guitar layer again with now the mid mono body one. So we got some chug samples and some live track just held out chords. Great plug in here, STL Control Hub. The thin electric guitar preset from Jeff Giuliano, so good for like just thinning out everything. So all the chug and extra guitars together, which are just plucky samples. with the main guitar. Just driving the rhythm. And as far as the chords are concerned, super simple. Just a Juno from Omnisphere. Sidechain heavily. And lo and behold, another pad from Serum. Then bass-wise, literally the same E bass, layering up a Juno bass from Serum with Decapitator. This sub filter, which is great for adding low end, and a glue compressor doing literally nothing. And then we got this deep Reese, which is very The Weeknd. So all the basses with the drums, bringing the chords. Now here's everything together with the vocal.
I feel like it was game over before it started. I met you at your worst, you were broken hearted. Still hung up on your wrist like you're in his arms. And I know it probably hurt, but should it be my problem?